All right, over 1,400, nearly 1,500 in fact, arrests in 17 days. That's the staggering number of drunk drivers taken off our roads since the start of December. The Road Traffic Management Corporation says alcohol plays a role in roughly 30% of all road deaths. And their latest campaign, which is #Shimoto, is aimed at stopping the carnage before it starts. To find out more about the progress of this festive season blitz, we're joined by Simon from the RTMC, the Road Traffic Management Corporation. Babu Zwane, thank you so much for the time. Appreciate it. Look, it's disgruntling to, of course, hear already that 1,500 motorists are arrested, close to that, for drunk driving. But at least the system is working. That's one thing we will certainly say. On the other side, though, how do we encourage people to actually adhere to these rules a little bit more? Good morning.
Good morning, Arabi. No, that number now is just above 2,000 of
Wow.
people arrested for drunken driving. We are having these blitzes every day. We intensify towards weekends because we know that's when you see a high number of these people going, driving under the influence of alcohol. We are getting consent that we are also arresting public transport drivers who are driving vehicles that are fully loaded with people while they are under the influence of alcohol. And there are truck drivers as well who are doing that. We're finding them driving these trucks under the influence of alcohol. So I want to call on the owners of the vehicles and the associations to also play their part and ensure that the drivers are behaving appropriately on the roads, because we all have this joint responsibility to reduce the high numbers of people who are dying on our roads. It's needless. It can be avoided.
Yeah.
It's unnecessary.
So what does Shimoto do that's possibly different to anything we've seen before? Because now we sit with another campaign. We've seen so many in the past.
Shimoto is targeted at private, mostly at private drivers. We're saying that we know they will be going to traditional feasts. The people also go to the taverns and they insist on driving their own cars. We're saying it's a risky behavior. Shimoto, either walk, if it's possible, to your nearest tavern, or we're living in an era where there are e-hailing services. Use those services when going to those places, and then you can come home safe. Because you may not only get arrested for driving under the influence of alcohol, but while driving back drunk, you may collide with a pedestrian. You can cause an accident with another motorist, and then that gets you into more trouble. So Shimoto, you and have fun without any concerns. Then use public transport facilities that are there available for you.
Yeah, and I think an important one here is it time, however, that we recognize that we need more than just roadblocks. Because yes, fine, as I said a little bit earlier, clearly enforcement is visible. It's working. There's, as you said, more than 2,000 people now being arrested for drunk driving. But what complementary strategies do we now need? Because we're clearly going to need more than just roadblocks to deter people.
Yeah, we certainly do. That is why we also work with these insurance companies who are insuring these vehicles. Some of them have got technologies that are able to detect the driving patterns of their clients, and they are also assisting us to deal with this problem, because your insurance premiums will go up if you are a habitual drunk driver. So all those efforts are complementing each other to ensure that awareness is raised, but that we also can impact on the behavior of the drivers.
Have you been able to get into conversation for a possible collaboration, conversation, and even the ability to engage and actually have working together with ride-sharing corporations and businesses, public transport, things like that. So just whether it is to speaking to those practical alternatives, but also speaking about them in order to encourage this a little bit more. Has that conversation happened so that they're perhaps a little bit more aware, a little bit more visible, shall it be as well?
Yes, we have a good relationship with the ride-sharing companies or e-hailing companies, for instance. We have regular interactions with them, and we share plans, and they are fully informed about our festive season road safety plans, and they're complementing it wherever they can. But in addition to that, we also have partnered with the Liquor Traders Association, so that they also in their own establishments, they're able to identify some of the drivers that are at high risk, and they're able to intervene at that stage. And they are allowing us also to flight our messages in these places so that awareness is sustained. But that the partnership with the liquor traders is also assisting, because they are able to then can arrange alternative transport where they see that this person is the person at high risk.
Yeah, certainly a conversation then needed with Lucky Ndimane from the National Liquor Association to really get a sense of how they're doing things on their end. Let's try and talk, and of course the festive season is the most critical at this point especially, but even beyond the festive season, how will Shimoto perhaps evolve into some sort of a long-term strategy?
Yeah, we want to sustain Shimoto because we don't see incidents of drunk driving only over the festive season. They're happening all the time. Previously, we had a campaign called No More Puza Thursday, because our data was indicating that drunk driving actually starts not over the weekend. People start drinking on Thursday, and they drive home, and the accidents related to drunk driving start increasing from Thursday, Friday, then Saturday and Sunday becomes the worst story. So we had the Puza Thursday campaign, but now we want to sustain the Shimoto campaign to say, you know that after work on the Thursday you are going to be meeting with friends for your Puza Thursday. So Shimoto on that day and arrange alternative transport that you'll be using to get you from your place of entertainment back home.
Yeah. All right. Just as a final, perhaps, message to many South Africans who, one, think that you get the repeated warnings, especially during December, how we can make those structural and behavioral changes to consumers, and also then just your message to motorists and road users at this time.
Yeah, at this time, we're urging motorists and road users to plan their trips appropriately, understand that the roads will be congested, and therefore there will be delays. So plan to travel outside of the peak traveling periods. We know that the peak travel period is going to start around 11, 12, 1. So if you are going to make a long distance trip and you want to avoid that, start leaving it around 7, 8, and then you will be able to have smooth driving to your destination. But if you are going to leave it late, you are going to find yourself in the traffic congestion. Further, we want people to avoid trying to driving at night or very early in the morning. Those times have been shown to be times where accidents increase.
Yeah. All right. Well, Simon, you know, we're actually running a poll question today based on this. We're asking our audience, the ones that are watching today, should drunk driving penalties be increased during the festive season? And the three options they have in terms of this voting is definitely, maybe, or no. I don't know how much you can see, but it says 83%
Yes.
of this, our audience says 83% are saying definitely. I don't know, perhaps if you have any thoughts with regards to this.
No, we certainly agree with that. We're engaging with the Department of Justice to also see how we can strengthen the law. Drunk driving should be encouraged. All efforts must be taken to ensure that nobody can drive under the influence of alcohol. The right license must be taken once you are found to have been driving under the influence of alcohol. You should lose your right to operate a vehicle on public roads. So by cancelling the driving license and making sure that you cannot drive again until you can show that you have rehabilitated yourself.
Yeah. So a revoking of your driver's license as well as harsher penalties definitely need to be made, according to Simon Zwane from the Road Traffic Management Corporation. Simon, thank you so much for your time, Baba. Really, really appreciate it. We certainly hope that Shimoto is felt, seen and understood throughout this festive season. Please, just as the whole adage goes across the country, arrive alive as best as you possibly can. Look after your own safety. Ensure that you are safe on the roads and wherever you are across the country.